Hello, and welcome to today's training. I am Corinne Schoenfeld, your host for this session on managing student responses. Our students are naturally eager to share, to respond, and be engaged. However, it is up to us as teachers to guide and shape these responses in meaningful ways. One of the most powerful indicators of meaningful classroom engagement is identifying who is doing the cognitive heavy lifting and how often. In far too many learning environments, a small group of confident or outspoken students will consistently dominate the discussion, while the majority of others are going to remain passive, quiet observers. This lesson is designed to tackle the engagement imbalance by equipping educators with strategies that promote intentional student participation and learning. Today, we'll pause and ponder on our typical classroom practices. We'll predict and perceive our student needs, and we're going to root into research-informed strategies that boost engagement and grow active learning action plans. During today's lesson, I challenge you to fully engage and participate along with a video. Take a moment to review the pre-read handout and view or print the other resources that are available for this session. Then take a minute to reflect on your typical classroom practices as you participate and reflect about each of the following key 4 areas. Area 1 is equity in education. Pause and ponder and use that reflection sheet. Take a moment to reflect on the typical engagement within your classroom. Yes or no? Do you ensure that all students are actively engaged and participating during each phase of the lesson? True or false? All students have all needed supplies before the lesson begins. Yes or no? All students understand the daily objective and take ownership of their learning. Educators should be consistently aware of their students' needs within the classroom. These needs include fair access to needed materials, representation, voice, support, relationships, and equitable opportunity. Productivity will soar when students take on a shared responsibility for their education. We are partners, and we work together as a team. Area 2 is active learning strategies. Do all students have regular structured engagement opportunities to participate during each segment of your lesson? Grab those response sheets. It's time for some more pause and ponder. Do you agree or disagree? All students participate regardless of their learning level, language, or confidence. Do you agree or disagree? Each lesson and each part of the lesson includes a variety of methods designed to boost student participation. Do you agree or disagree? These methods include a balance of whole group and individual opportunities to respond. Do you agree or disagree that your classroom expectations create a culture of accountability where any student may be asked to share their thinking at any given time? Active learning strategies are built-in opportunities for students to be actively engaged in their academic learning environment. These pre-planned, structured techniques keep the learner focused and on the essential elements of the lesson. They also help reduce the squirrel moment as well as some misbehavior. Reflection Area 3 draws us to reflect on our lesson structure, implementation, and delivery. We're going to continue our pause and ponder. Yes or no, are delivery methods and procedures intentionally planned and implemented within your classroom? Let's keep up with those response cards. We're going to use the scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I never do that. 10, I got this down. On the scale of 1 to 10, how consistently do you use intentional engagement strategies that promote thinking and discussion throughout the lesson? Same scale, how often do you use signals and cues to guide and pace your instruction? Next one, to what extent are students mentally and physically engaged in learning from start to finish? Same scale. How well do your classroom routines support full participation and make students feel safe to share even when they are uncertain? That question is going to take us straight to reflection area number 4, individual accountability. Continuing our pause and ponder, yes or no question. Does everyone present model equitable participation and shared responsibility in your classroom? We're going to switch from those response cards and we're going to go to something else for table talk. I'm going to clap 3 times and say teach, just like this. Teach. When I give you that signal, you'll clap 3 times and say learn as I ask each of these questions. All right, time to turn and teach. How does every individual have equitable representation and voice in learning? Teach, learn. In what ways do you shift responsibility to students for leading, questioning, or facilitating parts of the learning? Teach, learn. How do you incorporate motivational techniques that empower students, celebrate effort, and promote a growth mindset? Teach, learn. All right, last one. How do you ensure student responses are relevant, that they're respectful, that they are consistently acknowledged, and that they contribute to the classroom culture where all of the learners feel safe, where they can actively and attentively listen and respect one another? Teach, learn. Now that we have sowed the seeds, let's move forward to sprouting ideas. It's our time to predict and to perceive. In teaching, anticipating challenges before they arise is more effective than reacting to problems after they have occurred. Predicting student misunderstandings, their engagement dips, or behavior issues will allow us educators to proactively plan supports. When we predict and perceive upcoming issues, we can prevent learning disruptions and promote equity by meeting the diverse student needs from the start. Just like in health or in safety, prevention in the classroom leads to smoother learning, fewer setbacks, and stronger student outcomes. Do your students always respond with the intended response? Mine don't. Take a moment to read the conversations on the board and reflect. Does the way we ask questions lead to the kind of thinking or responses that we intend them to be? A great tool for Wrigley students is active learning opportunities that allow movement, whether it's thumbs up, thumbs down, or stand up, sit down. We can get them involved by moving physically, which also gets that kinesthetic energy going. Students enjoy one technique called move and message. It's like text messaging, but it should be silent, just like the text messaging would be. Let's do this: stand up, sit down, or thumbs up and thumbs down. You get to pick this time. So stand if you agree, or thumbs up, or sit if you disagree, or thumbs down if you disagree. My students always respond with the intended academic response. My students always respond with the intended behavioral response. The teacher in the room is the first person to verbally respond to a student's comment or question. The way we lead into a question can set the tone in the classroom. We have to know our intention before we ask a question. Open-ended questions should be stated before calling on an individual. This gives everyone time to prepare their own answer. Closed-ended questions are great for stressing essential vocabulary and concepts where a high amount of repetition is needed for mastery. This is a great opportunity to use core response and get everyone's answer and everybody participating at the same time. Just don't forget to use that signal that says, okay, you're going to answer when I snap. Student responses can either enrich the lesson by deepening their understanding, and it can drive discussion forward, or it can detract from it. It can create confusion, disengagement, or off-topic thinking. The quality and how relevant the responses are going to shape the learning momentum and help reveal whether instructional goals are being met. We're going to continue with pause and ponder for a second. My question for you is, which one of these personalities can quickly become your nemesis? In a group setting, I would have a response strategy called Whip It. What we would do is start with students somewhere in the room, probably on the front row, and go down the row to the one back, down that row to the seat back, down that row to the seat back. By doing this, we're allowing everybody to respond in a fast way. We're going to whip it around the room. This works best with a 1 or 2 answer response. Understanding student response personalities helps us to anticipate how students may engage with the lesson. It will allow us to adjust strategies in advance, and this foresight will protect the flow of the instruction. It'll support participation, and it will help ensure that all students feel comfortable and included in the learning process. When active learning techniques are predetermined, we can align student responses to the daily objectives and promote deeper understanding. It's now time to root into research to help us create strategies that stick. The goal is to create equitable engagement within our classroom, where all students have fair and meaningful opportunities to participate, contribute, and succeed. We can create this equitable engagement by intentionally designing lessons and activities that keep the focus on the intended outcome. These opportunities, both whole group and individual, invite every learner to think deeply, to participate actively, and to interact meaningfully with the content and their peers. Students will enhance their problem-solving skills, their leadership habits, and their love for learning. We have a few key principles of equitable engagement that help us to ensure that all students will have access to meaningful learning experiences. It is important to make sure that we are inclusive, that all students feel like they have voice and choice. It is important that they feel safe, supported, that we differentiate the material, that we're aware of bias, and that we help them to be aware of the bias awareness. And we need to make sure that all responses are relevant. We need to stick focused on that lesson and the key content. As educators, we know that meaningful collaboration starts with intentional guidance. To promote inclusive, supportive learning environments where every student feels valued, we have to model and teach these 5 principles consistently. First, listen. Listening is more than just being quiet. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of engagement. It's a sign of hearing what is being said, applying it to ourselves, finding those personal connections. The second guideline would be for students to look. Show students how to stay visually and mentally engaged. Teach them to track the speaker, to use eye contact, to read body language, and help them notice who is participating and who isn't. As they invite others in, they get to lend. It's important that students feel encouraged to offer support, that they can share their ideas, and that they can clarify concepts for each other. When students teach their peers, they deepen their own understanding and they strengthen the whole learning community. Fourth is learn. Foster a growth mindset of openness. Learning isn't just for the students, it's for us as well. It isn't about just getting the right answer. It is about staying curious and welcoming feedback, reminding students that sometimes a peer's explanation might just be the one that makes it click. And finally, lift. Celebrate each other's voices and victories. When one student shines, the whole group grows. Help students recognize contributions, cheer each other on, and build classroom culture that is rooted in encouragement. Throughout the lesson today, you have learned a variety of engagement strategies that have been modeled to support diverse learners and encourage active participation. The effectiveness of these strategies will depend on more than just its use. It relies on a strong foundation of clear procedures, consistent expectations, and a smooth instructional flow. These strategies are powerful tools, but their impact is determined by how intentional and skillfully they are implemented. When a garden is taken over by weeds, it can completely derail its initial purpose. Active learning strategies work the same way. There are multiple barriers educators face, such as environmental, language, cultural, and social economic. Take a moment to pause and consider what the weeds are in your garden. Knowing these weeds will help you identify a plan to tackle them before they escalate in an undesired location. Remember, if a strategy doesn't work for you, it likely won't work for your students either. Consistency is key. Expectations apply to everyone, including you. If you expect your students to whisper, model it. If you want them to look, clearly state the expectation, then pause and give them time to respond. Don't forget to acknowledge their efforts, praise their progress, and celebrate success. These small but intentional moments will build the classroom culture you and your students need to thrive. Pause and ponder. Take a moment to look over the rewarding results of these engagement techniques. Today we sowed the seeds through reflection. We explored ideas to predict and perceive our students' response personalities, and we demonstrated engagement strategies to unite all of our students. Now it's your turn to plan on how you might implement this new knowledge in your classroom and allow these concepts time to grow. Now that you've gathered all of these practical strategies and meaningful insights, your session handout becomes more than just notes. It is your toolkit for transformation. Use it to craft an action plan that reflects your unique teaching style, that will meet the needs of your students and bring lasting impact to your classroom. Remember that small shifts lead to powerful growth. Start where you are and build with purpose. What you do and what you discover inspires all of us. Find an accountability partner and share your plan. Peer synergize. Don't forget to listen, look, lend, learn, and lift. Have a great day.